Shalom, shalom. It's the brother Yahweh Shapat coming at you with another lesson through the spirit and power of Yahweh. Allahaya Nawa Bahashem, Hamashiach Yahweh Shah. Double honors to my elders and apostles of Great Millstone who teach and rule well in these scriptures. Peace and blessings to the hopeful elect. This is 2 Corinthians 10, and I'm going to start at verse 5. Actually, I'm going to start at verse 3. So this is 2 Corinthians 10 and 3. For though we walk in the flesh, we do not war after the flesh. For the weapons of our warfare are not carnal, but mighty through Yahweh to the pulling down of strongholds, casting down imaginations and every high thing that exalteth itself against the knowledge of Yahweh by Hashem Yahushua, and bringing into captivity every thought to the obedience of Hamashiach. So I want to deal with that etymology of the word dogma, because when you deal with Esau's educational system, you know, the things we learned in school and what these Babylonians, these Americans would call common knowledge, you know, according to Esau's history and according to his records. Well, this man teaches a dogma. He doesn't actually go into real history. So therefore, most people don't know real history. When you try to approach them with real history, you know, a lot of people, just like the colleges, down to the people that they teach, you know, people are new information, you know, and people believe, you know, history based off what Esau has taught them. So when I got into the etymology of the word dogma, it says an opinion, a tenet, that which one thinks is true, you know, and then you have the word dogmatism. It says an authoritative assertion of doctrines or opinions. So that's pretty much what a lot of people know as history is, you know, with Esau, with his authority, he pushes out his own version of history that's not necessarily true all the time. You know, one of those part of his dogma is that Columbus was the first one to discover America, and he did not. You know, he wasn't the first one to discover America. The first one to have knowledge of America was King Solomon. You know, let me get this precept. This is Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 7, verse 17. For he hath given me certain knowledge of the things that are, namely, to know the world, Salakia, to know how the world was made, and the operation of the elements, the beginning, ending, and middest of the times, the alterations of the turning of the sun and the change of seasons, the circuits of years and positions of stars, the natures of living creatures, and the furies of wild beasts, the violence of winds, and the reasonings of men, the diversities of plants, and the virtues of roots, and all such things as are either secret or manifest, them I know. So, King Solomon had, you know, basically the maritime law, the law of the sea, you know, knowing it took a year and a half to get here and a year and a half to get back to Jerusalem. You know, King Solomon had Hiram, Hiram, Hiram was a Canaanite. You know, he was a builder for King David and King Solomon. He was also a navyman, a merchant, you know, and King Solomon had Hiram and you know, some of our people, you know, because the Israelites, we knew of this land because of King Solomon. You know, so King Solomon would send Hiram here to get, you know, these exotic animals, stores of gold, trees, apes, peacocks, you know, herbs, all these different things, you know. So when you have they call them the Olmecs. So when you had those stone heads that they found down there in, I believe, Southern America, you know, South America, So that they didn't the Olmecs, that those were nothing but the Canaanites. They came over here and they left certain, so they left those stones because they would come here, they would set up, and they would get these things, and then they would be back on their way. So they didn't live here, but they did come here, and they came here at the order of King Solomon to bring back certain goods. So they left those stones here, and you can tell when you look at those stones, which I won't take the time to pull them up, but if you want to look that up on Google, you look up those Olmec heads. They actually look like Canaanites, like Hamites. So you also have um, it was a Moabite map, you know, that was like, I believe it was introduced in the 1400s. Moab, they didn't come here, but they knew of this land. They knew, like they when you look up that Moabite map, it's pretty accurate to today's world map. It was a little off, but they came close to close to the one that we have today. So that proves that they knew about it. Esau back in the they thought the earth was round. Salaki, they thought the earth was flat at one time. So they didn't have any knowledge of how to get here. Also there were other people that came here. You know, Going back to King Solomon sending Hiram. You know what I'm saying? You had Leif Erikson. He came here before Christopher Columbus. A few other people came here. A lot of people. There were people that came to this place and knew of this place before he did. Namely, Jake knew first, man. Our people knew first because the 10 tribes, they came over here in around about 722 BC through 726 BC. You also had, I believe, some Judites may have made their way over here. You know what I'm saying? Some of the Southern Kingdom, they actually may have made their way. I believe they made their way over here, man, because the 10 tribes had long left. But you've had findings of Roman coins, Roman coins, Greek coins with Antiochus, who's mentioned in the scriptures. Yeah, so that's proof that you had Jake fleeing over here to where the Northern Kingdom brothers and sisters were. Jake was fleeing Roman persecution and coming over here. So our people knew about this place way before anybody else did. Due to King Solomon having knowledge of this place, going back, man, to those days. You have there are certain, I believe his name is Gunnar Thompson. He's just one of many people who, they know the truth, and he was actually ousted by certain colleges, who are anti-information, who, they pretty much, they don't want to hear, they don't want the truth about certain things getting out to the public. So you have gatekeepers in colleges, you have gatekeepers in prestigious, places where information supposedly thrives. A lot of these people, they've signed up to not speak about certain things in order to get, those high level positions in these colleges. And he spoke about that, and he actually has a book called Secret Voyages to America. I believe the book is running around about $30. You can find a PDF online, but it's always good to have a personal reference, if you will. I don't have that book yet, but I think that's one I want to get. I'm gonna add that one to my collection. But yeah, man. So Ophir is actually that's what the scriptures called America. It was also named Arsareth. And you had Hiram. Yeah, Hiram, he had a navy. And he used to come over here for King Solomon. So I'm gonna get 1 Kings, the 10th chapter. Yeah, so this is 1 Kings 10 and 22. For the king had at sea a navy of Tarshish with the navy of Hiram. Once in 3 years came the navy of Tarshish, bringing gold and silver, ivory, and apes and peacocks. So King Solomon exceeded all the kings of the earth for riches and wisdom. Yep. So, King Solomon's kingdom was off the chain, and that was basically a prelude to the kingdom. Because if you in this knowledge, man, you've been around long enough. And if the Lord is dealing with you, ultimately, you understand that King Solomon is Yahweh Shai. Yahweh Shai was King Solomon, rather. Um, So yeah, King Solomon's kingdom was off the chain, and you can read about it in the scriptures, man. It took him, I believe, 13 years to build, for his house to be built, and I believe double the time for the house of the Lord to be completed. And these King Solomon's dwelling was, you know, man, hey, you can barely put it into words, man. So you can just only imagine how the kingdom of heaven is gonna look. The temple, the first temple, man, it was decked out. So yeah, Esau, he doesn't want this information getting out. So you'll never hear any prestigious colleges allow this information to be published via them. The elites, they control all of these colleges. They're in cahoots. Everybody in cahoots with the elites, man. And the elites want a certain dogma to be pushed out there. And going back to the etymology, the dogma is only an opinion or that which one thinks is true. It's not actual fact. So Esau don't deal with facts, and he don't want facts getting out there. Yeah, so the 10 tribes, they came here first. Well, yeah, they settled in here first. Let's see, and Hiram, he came, every 3 years with a shipment for King Solomon. So that proves 2nd Ezra 13 and 45. It took the tribes a year and a half to get here. If you were going back and forth, it would take you a year and a half to get here and a year and a half to get back. So let me get that in 2nd Ezra 13 and 45. I want to make this a series, but I'm gonna have to find the time to actually go into one of those into Gunnar Thompson's book, just to pull out certain information, to add to it, because I want to make a series basically, breaking strongholds, man, because the Esau's dogma is the strongholds that we're breaking, the ideas, that are being put out there via Esau's dogma, and a lot of it ain't true, man. A lot of it ain't. Christopher Columbus, he had knowledge that there were Hebrews here. A lot of these different scholars, they understand that the so-called Native Americans, which I'm gonna just include all of the Northern Kingdom in that, because all of them are native to this area, if you will, technically. So there's plenty of proof out there that those were Hebrew-speaking people. They spoke Hebrew. The 10 tribes came over here ultimately to try and keep the law, statutes, and commandments the right way, which they did partially. They did go off while they were here, but this is 2nd Ezra 13 and 45. For through that country there was a great way to go, namely of a year and a half, and the same region is called Ar-Sareth. Then they dwelt there until the latter time, and now when they shall begin to come. So we in the latter times now, and best believe they're still here. We all here. From the Southern Kingdom to the Northern Kingdom, we all here, man. And like I said, he don't want this getting out. That guy Gunnar Thompson, he basically goes into how, these colleges, these people that work in these colleges, they anti-new information. So if you present something that goes against the dogma that they're elected to teach, they're gonna cast you out. So you have to independent sources of information concerning things like history are very important, you know, because when you try to go through these devils, they gonna give you bullshit, man. If you want to find out the truth, you got to get out here and dig and challenge. You got to challenge this dogma that they put out. These ideas and ideologies. Let's see. This is Isaiah 29:15. Woe unto them that seek deep to hide their counsel from the Lord, and their works are in the dark. And they say, who seeth us and who knoweth us? Hey, but the Lord is he's shining a light on all of Esau's lies and bullshit, man. Yeah, so pretty much, man, that's all that's all I got. I pretty much intended on making this short. It's a lot of other information that I want to bring out, but before I do that, I want to get more studied on it, man. So like I said, I'm gonna try to definitely try to make this a series. So I'm gonna do this as a Breaking Strongholds Part 1. I'm gonna get gather some more information up and try to put together more lessons concerning this topic, because this is just lightly touching on that, but I want to dig more into it. So I definitely will have more to come on this topic. Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shah Ratazah. And Lord willing, this was edifying. And until the next one, I say Shalom.